Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I'm the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Elevate Your Small Business Accounting with Sage 50, presented by Kosana Peebles and Noah Corwick. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can submit any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the question section in your GoToWebinar panel, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the presentation. You're also able to change your layout to focus more on the presentation, zoom in, zoom out. You can download a handout that has a copy of our presentation deck, participate in the chat, and like I said, ask any questions you have while the experts are present. We're also recording this presentation, and it'll be distributed tomorrow to all attendees, as well as those who registered but were unable to attend today. And finally, we would appreciate your participation in our poll and closing survey. With that said, we're thrilled that you've taken some time out of your busy day to be with us on this webinar. SWK is here to help you fulfill your vision of a smarter and easier way to run your business by providing you with tools, support, software, and industry knowledge whenever you need it. So whether you're here to explore a new solution or just here to learn, we'd like to encourage you to ask any questions you have. And lastly, as a quick reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates and software tips and tricks on our social media channels. So give us a follow on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube so you don't miss out. Okay, that's enough from me. I'm going to hand it over to Kasana and Noah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So thank you very much, Courtney, for introducing us. And today we will talk about elevating your accounting with Sage 50. Small business accounting software. So as we get started, I want to kind of go over the agenda of what we'll be covering today. And in the table of contents, we want to talk about your checklist, housekeeping items that every small business has to consider, areas of focus that need to be addressed to be able to run an effective small business. I want to talk about taking a step forward with Sage 50, what our commitment is to the small business community, medium-sized businesses and enterprise businesses globally, but also who we are and what we do. Then we'll get into a little bit about jobs to be done, get into the core functionality of Sage 50, and just kind of enable you to understand that it's not just accounting software, it's more of an integrated business solution to enable you to manage multiple components of your business. And then we'll talk a little bit about industry. We have some really nice industry functionality specific features in versions of our product Sage 50 that enable small micro businesses to be more successful at a cost-effective price. And then we'll do some closing remarks, and we will get into some of the other areas of hosting and security, and just give you a well-rounded presentation. So let's get started. Okay, when we talk about that checklist, most organizations have to consider what accounting software tools they'll need. That is a mandatory critical component to running an effective business. And you want to make sure that solution is fit for purpose. And when we say that, what we mean is we want to be able to have a solution where our CEO, our business owners, the office administrators, accounting professionals, HR, whatever your business mix of professionals, you want to enable the full organization to be able to have access to the tools that enable the organization to be successful. When we look at what our business goals are, these will, I'm pretty sure these will resonate with most of you. We want to maintain profitability. We want to retain our talent. We want to be sustainable, and we want to be efficient. As we look outward at the marketing climate, the competitive forces, inflation, and all the forces that we deal with that affect our business, we have to operate our business and have tools that enable us to work as efficiently as possible in order to automate things to enable us to be profitable. Getting started, what type of solution to consider, what's going to work best in your environment, what type of hardware, software, how do you want to access that? So you have to consider the form factor by which you make your decision. Are you going to choose a desktop solution? Are you going to go cloud native with more customizations? Or are you going to choose a solution that provides you the best of both worlds, like a hybrid solution? What kind of functionality do you need out the door? Many solutions on higher levels require a lot of customization. Sage 50 provides the value of having a ready to go solution out of the box. So your functionality out the door is critical because you want to maintain business continuity and not be able to miss a beat. Compliance is also one of the major concerns of most small businesses. Taxes, 941s, your employees, 1099s, W-2s, staying in compliance with your state, federal regulations, enabling GAAP compliant processes, generally accepted accounting principles to be the standard for your organization in order to stay in alignment with all your regulatory agencies and bodies you may deal with. When we talk about the task to accomplish and what keeps the wheels of the business running, it's managing your finances. So you need accounting tools to be able to give you dynamic control of what money's coming in, how the money's being moved, and how it's being managed. You also have the component of managing your people, uh, paying your people, HR processes, things that enable you to retain your best talent through dynamic workforce and people management. You also want to maintain and manage your customers and suppliers. This is the core and lifeblood of many small businesses. We want to ensure that we have dynamic contacts, proper invoicing, and proper processes to be able to manage those relationships. And of course, we need the right data. The right data provides us insight into uh, our business performance to enable us to make better decisions, to enable us to plan better, to enable us to make better growth projections. So when we go through that checklist of what we need and my evaluation and our evaluation and working with several small businesses, these are the things that folks need to consider. So why Sage? Sage products grow and expand with micro businesses through enterprise growth. And what that means is there are several options and add-ons depending on how you choose to manage your business that enable scalability, to streamline processes, and to automate processes. Automating and streamlining processes is what enables enterprise growth because it frees up your time from mundane tasks and having to do repetitive tasks and frees you up to be able to work on the core components of your business. Another good reason is local expert integration. You can easily export your business finances directly to your accountant via some of the transmission data features within Sage 50. Um, Communicating with your accountant and making sure that you are in compliance, again, is one of the top concerns of small businesses. We have an extensive portfolio of software solutions that meet the needs of all businesses. We'll get into a little bit on some of the verticalization of our product and some of the specialization. But the beautiful part about Sage 50 is that it is a solution that can meet the needs of several type of businesses. And we have a combination of desktop, cloud native, and hybrid products. Exclusive Sage membership for all customers. Uh, when you're on our products, you become part of the business care community. There are resources available to you, talking to other businesses, leveraging information that have made others successful. Of course, you've got product support, forums, you've got add-on support. So there are several resources within the Sage community when you become a member of the Sage family. And I already touched on it, reliable support, including phone support, online chats, free training through our Sage University portal, and tools to make sure that if you select our product and our solution, you can get started and get up to speed quickly. So let's move on into Sage 50. Let's step right into the product. Now, when we talk about managing a business, these are some of the core things when we roll everything up that are commonalities across many different types of business platforms. And when we talk about managing finances, we want to make sure that we have bank reconciliation, uh, bank feeds, dynamic control over our cash flow management to understand what our business health and strength is. And there's several products that we have and combination of products that can appeal to that, depending on how you're doing business. We have payment solutions that can be connected to the solution to automate that process. We have several different supplier type of entity information to gather data on uh, your insight into your business portfolio within your software. So managing finances is going to be one of the key components when you're considering an accounting solution. Managing people is one of the most important components as well. Payroll. How are you going to do your payroll as an organization? Are you going to work with a managed payroll solution? Are you going to bring it in house? How are you going to do time tracking? How are you going to do expense management depending on your business? How are you going to do your people management? If you have mandatory trainings, how are you going to administer that to the whole organization in a very simplified way? If you would like your employees to be able to access their HR portal, how are you going to manage that? We have integrated solutions, Sage 50 with payroll and Sage HR. It's a module that you can add on that provides an integrated solution that gives you all of that in one place. We talked about managing customers and suppliers, your order management, invoicing processes, inventory management. For some businesses, that's critical because that's the things that enable them to be profitable by managing that effectively. Sage 50 accounting is, of course, the base product, but then we have add-ons like inventory planner and other type of solutions that enable you to be more effective in long-term planning and analysis for your business. We'll continue to talk about compliance because compliance is important. Uh, Having the correct calculations to be able to report to the taxing authorities is critical. And we do have add-ons that you can automate those processes as well to be able to do electronic filing right within the software and enable you to have dynamic control over that process as well. Reporting is always going to be one of the most important components to managing a business because that gives you insight into what the business is, how the business is performing, uh, what if scenarios, mitigation techniques, and things that you can do differently to facilitate growth. So within Sage 50 comes pre-canned with several reports that appeal to many different kinds of concerns within the software. So that is one of the strengths and one of the components of the Sage 50 solution that our clients love. And of course, automating workflows, leveraging the cloud connected capabilities. There is a whole Sage marketplace and ecosystem of add-on solutions. If you want to automate data entry, there's solutions that can do that. Setting up your bank feed, setting up, uh, automating your accounts payable, your accounts receivable. There's a solution that can manage all of those entities. But determining what that is requires doing the discovery and really looking at your processes in a granular way to see which is the best direction forward. So let's move on to who we are and why we win. Sage has empowered entrepreneurs and small businesses to operate for more than 42 years. Many remember us. We were formerly Peachtree Software. We acquired that solution and developed that solution into the Sage 50 portfolio of software products. So we have a tried and true reputation. We are known more as an accounting solution versus bookkeeping software per se. We are GAAP compliant. And again, based on the integrated components and the way people do business, we have a lot of situations and add ons that enable that cohesive integration. So we have over 65,000 businesses that trust Sage 50 as their main accounting solution. And we have a Sage Accountants Network that also works with our clients as well. So we have a very robust community of Sage 50 users that respect and love our product. And on average, the average tenure of a Sage 50 customer is 13 years. So that gives you clear indication that we're trying to partner with our customers to be able to help them develop and grow throughout the different stages of their evolution. So let's get a little bit into the jobs that need to be done, and we can talk about how the core functionality of Sage 50 works. So anyone that initiates a Sage 50 subscription will get a getting started component. There'll be getting started, quick start wizards, help centers, customer success to enable you to launch your product successfully. And of course, working with our consulting community as well helps to facilitate that. uh, when you're working with customers and you're looking to set up the functionality, you're able to generate customer records, be able to track your customers' invoices, and payments for those customers. And if you have an integrated credit card solution, you can track card payments as well. Working with your vendors, same thing, vendor records, PO processing, uh, purchase invoice entries, all able to be tabulated, calculated, and cataloged within the Sage 50 solution. Your banking is just as equally important. Bank reconciliation, bank feeds, cash flow forecasts, ties in a little bit into your reporting. Managing your people, payroll, issuing paychecks, doing job costing if you're a construction company, being able to manage your jobs and what your people are doing on those jobs to determine profitability. Pay slips versus via Sage HR. We talked a little bit about that. We'll get into a little bit about that, a little bit more about that later on in this presentation. But integrating the HR component for a small business is key because many individuals in this space cannot afford HR departments or HR professionals. So it provides a really good economical, cost-effective feature for individuals to manage their people. General functionality, of course, there's robust reporting, there's report designers. You can do data imports from most ODBC compliant type data sources. And of course, scheduling your backups. You can automate that process to make sure that you have dynamic control of your data. Of course, year-end tasks, the year-end wizard, editing your journals, preparing your data for your accounting teams. That's all built in to the program and available to you as a subscriber. And then your tax management, custom sales tax reports, any of the type of reporting. Again, Sage 50 is full of canned reports that provide most 99% of the needs of your business, unless you have customizations beyond that. But there are add-ons for that as well. So let's move on to some of the other areas that I wanted to cover. And I talked about having deep insights, and I can't stress the importance of being able to manage your business in a thoughtful and insightful way using data. What if scenarios? Customized templated reports that report on data that are specific to the needs of your business. Enabling yourself to minimize financial losses, to be able to pinpoint areas within the business based on your financials, to understand, what your KPIs are, being able to garner business metrics to enable you to make informed, detailed decisions that enable growth and sustainability. So Sage 50 is definitely a solution that enables you to do that and more. So let's talk a little bit about industry. Um, Now, Sage 50 is a solution that is utilized and consumed by many different types of businesses. And, I'll never stop, being amazed by the type of businesses that use our software. Any type of business that's providing a service or church, or any type of entity can utilize the core accounting functionality in Sage 50. Now, our product line is broken into Pro, Premium, and Quantum, depending on how many users and what type of needs you have. But again, these needs are typically indicative and specific to most businesses. And depending on the type of business, Sage 50 can probably manage most likely whatever that type of concern is from a financial accounting component. Where Stage 50 stands out is in some of the core areas of verticals, and that would be your manufacturing, construction, distribution, and nonprofits. So the Quantum version of Sage 50 offers built-in manufacturing capabilities from managing your inventory, serialized inventory, managing your purchase orders, and really having that cohesive relationship between your production teams and your finance teams. And having that built into one solution out of the box provides a small micro manufacturer with an excellent value for the investment. Furthermore, we have the same capabilities within Quantum Construction specialized version. Uh, the jobs tracking module within this is priceless. It enables you to track your profitability, estimate your job expenses, and really have dynamic control over your cash flow and how you're managing those jobs. This solution has provided multiple different types of construction entities with success, from residential to commercial to institutional type construction. And again, one of the key features that we stand out in the marketplace is the jobs tracking component. I want to touch a little bit on the distribution industry. This is all about tracking inventory, managing units, being able to maximize your distribution processes and your assembly relationships to create profitability. Quantum distribution also provides a very good solution for a micro distributor who may or may not have one or so locations, and really provides them with a comprehensive, cohesive ability to track their inventory and have dynamic control of that. So we talked about a lot about this, and the reason why I mentioned it is because this is an area that we, as an accounting company, understand individuals struggle with. Managing your HR components in 1 to 20, 1 to 30, 1 to 50 employee type businesses can be difficult if there's not a dedicated resource for that. And many companies can't allocate a resource for that based on their size. So Sage HR creates a comprehensive tool, cloud-based, built into your accounting solution to help you remotely track, manage, and engage your employee as easily as you would in the office. And there's a lot of components to this based on what type of business you are and what type of services you will require. But this is a game changer because having dynamic control of your HR processes right from your fingertips is a priceless option in conjunction with your accounting and payroll system. So when we look at the Sage 50 product overall, we have 3 versions of Sage 50, and the versions are specific to the size of company and the needs that you have. It's just that simple. Sage 50 Pro is our one user base level version of our product designed for solopreneurs, smaller organizations that need to have control over their accounting, want to automate that and make sure they stay in compliance very easily. Sage 50 Premium is that 1 to 5 user version of our product. And I'm not going to read the features, but again, this is designed for multiple levels of types of businesses to use to give them the basic APR, APAR, general ledger type of component accounting as well as have add-on solutions to enable them to scale their business depending on their needs. And then Quantum is our enterprise version of Sage 50. It's scalable up to 40 users. It does have the industry specializations I mentioned prior for distribution, construction, manufacturing, and nonprofits. And it provides additional functionality that otherwise those type of companies would have to purchase another solution for or get some kind of outside assistance to be able to do that. But having again that functionality in one place in an integrated environment is the value of Sage 50. So I want to segue the presentation over to Noah. One of the other components that we know is an important aspect of managing your technology infrastructure and your accounting processes is the security and how you're going to access that solution. And SWK can provide you with some of those options.
Perfect. Thanks, Kasana. Appreciate that. If we can proceed to the next slide, please. Perfect. All right. So, hey, everybody, again, Noah Corwick, one of the account executives here at SWK. So to start off with, for my brief portion of this webinar today, I wanted to start with cloud versus on-prem. I think a good place to start is where the cloud has come from, right? Back when I was first talking about it, people would call and talk about the iCloud, right? Well, obviously that's specific to Apple, but there's a lot of mystery, a lot of what actually is the cloud, the big buzzword, a lot of memes about it, right? It was truly the unknown, which created a lot of past hesitancy. There were comments like, I won't have control over my data. And I'm a big believer that your data is your livelihood. If you don't have your data, your business is no good because you don't have anything to show for it from a data standpoint, right? So, not having control. My data is now the hosting providers. People would also say, I won't get hacked. My security is fine locally. I would say back when, before Sage 50 was widely put on the cloud, there's a lot of hesitancy because of the physical touch factor, right? People naturally like and get the warm and fuzzies for things that they can touch. It's a, human trait, human flaw, however we want to look at it, right? Um, I like to compare that to for all the music people out there, vinyl versus an MP3. The on-premise would be vinyl, plays very well, but if you drop that record or the record player gets scratched or you want to take it to a different location, there could be a lot of issues that go along with that. You're limited, you're constricted. As opposed to an MP3, for example, is you can access it from different streaming platforms in different devices. It has a lot of cool metadata, like the producers behind the scenes and when the song came out and things like that, right? So it's more dynamic. And so, just because you can't necessarily touch where the Sage 50 or your software is being placed doesn't mean it's not secure, doesn't mean you don't have control over it, right? So that was a good place to start, kind of where that, came from, right? Moving to the cloud, especially, Sage 50, there's a lot of cost control predictability. A lot of hosting providers, including SWK, have a per user model. So during busy season, if you have 20 users, get billed for 20 users. During slow season, if your tax practice, we see this a lot, you go down to 5 users or 3 users or heck, even 1. That's okay too. It's scalable for you and during the season, during the time, wherever you're at from a business standpoint. And it's predictable because again, you can predict when things are going to be added or removed and you need to add additional server resources and things like that. For an on-premise solution having Sage on there, there's unexpected costs. Servers, have a good tendency of sometimes crashing or getting the screens of death, and you have to make sure that, you have that looked at pretty quickly. You have to make sure security is up to date with greatest and newest security measures. And there's just a lot of things that can go wrong, even if that server or the electricity goes down, that's an unexpected cost because that's downtime, right? So there's a lot of things that can go along with it. Along the same lines of this, moving to the cloud is an operating expense or an OpEx compared to having an on-prem solution, which is a capital expenditure or CapEx. On the accounting side, if there's any accounting folks on there, I'm sure they'll shake their head in agreement. But accounting folks like things that are predictable, that are maybe not monthly, but every time annually, like predictability, right? So that's what the cloud provides it. It also provides a more ironclad IT budget, as opposed to a lot of companies don't have an IT budget. So if big things come up, they might not have the budget for it. A capital expenditure, obviously on the on-premise side, is a big cost all at once. Servers, if you're getting a good one or a mid-grade one, they're not cheap. They are not cheap. So it's a big heavy cost up front as well. There's cost savings when moving to the cloud typically as well. So moving to the cloud is typically less expensive than on-prem servers due to not having to pay for an expensive new server every 3 to 5 years. That's the typical shelf life for a good server. And I'm going to name a lot of different things here, but buying a new server includes the physical hardware itself, obviously, right? But Windows Server licensing, user cal licensing, a backup solution, a security solution, possible SQL licensing, experienced tech to service the environment, even the electricity to power everything, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. And there's also downtime. How much is downtime worth to your business? Let's do a very quick mental exercise. So what does your business generate per average a week? Hold that there for a second. Now divide that number by 40, since there are 40 hours in a work week. This is how much your business is making per hour. Now imagine you have 1 hour of downtime a week. How much money is that actually costing your business per month? Dare I ask, what does it cost per year? Moving to the cloud reduces the percentage of downtime occurring due to SLA requirements. Plus, if your internet goes out in the office, it's fine. Go work from home, go to Starbucks, go anywhere with a internet connection, you're going to be rocking and rolling. There's less management from you compared to more management on the on-prem side. So if you need to add users, add additional servers, server resources, you call the support team for the cloud provider. It's that easy. Submit a ticket, give them a call, whatever you'd like. On the on-prem side, there's more management where you have to make sure things are looked at hopefully 24/7, making sure you're joining things at the domain, making sure your Active Directory is up to date. It's just more stuff you have to adhere to and pay attention to. Easily scalable, kind of along the same lines of that. You call support team for the cloud provider, like here at SWK, and we can add those users. We can scale down or up. That's okay. Whatever you need, we're here to have your back, and hosting providers should have the same philosophy as well. And there's painful scalability. You have to make sure you have the new VM spun up or the new physical hardware provision. You have to make sure you join things at the domain. You have to make sure that the VPN set up if you're going to be accessing remotely, and so on and so on. There's a lot of different things that come into play from a scalability standpoint. There's around the clock support for your cloud solution. That's a great benefit. A lot of that is baked into that. You're having trouble logging on at 10 a.m. or sorry, 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. That's fine. Just give a call, and someone will be able to help, as opposed to limited support. A lot of times it's a small IT team, and people are humans and sleep at the end of the day, as shocking as that is. So you have a deeper bench behind you. Compliance and security kept up for you. During this call, while Kasana was talking, security probably changed 5 times, maybe even 10. Things are ever changing and ever evolving. So compliance and security kept up for you is a major, major benefit in having Sage in the cloud, because the environment that it is on will be maintained for you from a security and best-in-class security tools within the environment, as opposed to you having to keep up with that yourself. And the last one on here is easy access from anywhere. Look, you don't need to manage any VPNs. You don't need to worry about login hijacking someone's computer and making sure that computer is always on and usable and coordinating, right? You get a direct access point into the environment that Sage 50 is being hosted on, and you're rocking and rolling. All right, next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so what can you host? So I break this down into three main software categories. There's desktop, there's hybrid software, and web-based software. So desktop software is anything that can be installed on your computer or a server. Sage 50, surprisingly, in air quotes, is a very great example of that. Jumping ahead to web-based software, that is something that is fully web-based, that you don't install anything, but you go to the company's website and you access. QuickBooks Online is the example I always use for that, right? Typically, they're like a different version with sometimes diminished features and whatnot, but it's more of like the web-based view. And then there's hybrid software, and those come in all shapes and sizes depending upon software that we're talking about. But those have a desktop component, and then they have a web component, some sort of sync. Could be a backup, could be to you name it. There's a lot of different creative ways that hybrids work, but how the gist of it is there's a desktop component and then it syncs to the cloud somewhere. So overall, to ask the question again, what can you host? The easiest answer, and this is the most technical I'm going to get on this call, is most things that can be installed on a Windows terminal server. That's the easiest answer that I or anyone can give you. So that's most desktop software. That's most hybrid software. Web-based software is already in the cloud, so you can't cloud a cloud. You can't inception it, unfortunately. So you can't. It's already hosted, so you can't rehost it. Third-party software. A lot of hosting providers shy away from this. Here at SWK, we don't. We embrace it. So a lot of third-party software can be hosted. So you can use your Sage 50 alongside insert third-party software here sort of thing. You expand your tool set, expand your accounting, I guess, at the end of the day. And then Microsoft 365, I put that there as an example because A, it's a great tool, but it also has a desktop component where you can access, I'm sure we're all using it today right now, our Outlook and our locally installed Excel and Exchange. There's a hybrid component where maybe that the data from Excel is being synced to OneDrive or SharePoint. And there's a web-based component where you can go to Office 365 and access your stuff there. Next, moving on is support and security. So I always like to pinpoint like a person versus a team, right? A person's a human being. They get sick, take PTO, go on vacation, get married, maybe have children, get burned out, right? It's impossible because of life and just the way humans are. It's impossible for one person to be a master of all IT. For example, just because you know how to fix a computer doesn't mean you're a ninja at cybersecurity. They are two completely different skill sets. So relying on a single person to do everything can really stretch your IT thin. You're probably not going to get the best support because of it. As opposed to a team who have specialists capable of helping with all sorts of scenarios around the clock and are obligated to be there for you. Your favorite cloud tech goes on vacation, that's okay. There are other very capable technicians that can fill in their shoes. 24/7 monitoring. Again, people naturally are humans. They need to sleep. They're not, and statistically are not great multitaskers, right? This makes 24/7 monitoring tough for a small IT team. Adding a cloud team whose sole responsibility is to watch your environment around the clock will allow you to have the peace of mind knowing someone has your back proactively, addressing possible issues before they become large. And that's a good segue into proactive versus reactive approach. Because a cloud team is watching your environment 24/7, it allows them to catch or notice things before they affect your business. This could be low disk space or server resources being overextended, you name it. As opposed to a reactive approach where you have to contact an IT provider or a team and they provide more of a band-aid or temporary fix solution air quotes, fix to the issues and don't get to the real issue at hand. Move over Norton antivirus. Gone are the days where you can have Norton on a computer or Windows Defender that comes with all Windows products and feel or be actually protected, right? Having the best in class enterprise solutions that are protecting, again, your data, which is your livelihood, is more important as ever. So moving to the cloud, you get the benefit of that for sure. It's a huge one. But maybe more important than the tools itself are the people. In the security world, those are called security operations center or a SOC team. So it's great to have the tools, but what do you do when someone detects something? It's real humans going in, fleshing out what is being done and making sure you're taken care of at the end of the day. Working with a hosting provider that has a SOC team is becoming very vital as well. MFA is becoming such a norm and rightfully so. Multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication goes by a couple of different names, but it's when you get like a code to access an app to your phone or an email, and you have to put in the code. That's becoming really key and important, so definitely highly recommend that. And then backups. If you're not doing proper backups, it's a security measure because if something happens, you don't have your data. Again, you're kind of stuck in the mud right there. So making sure things are backed up is very, very important. And then user management. Look, unfortunately, at businesses, we let people go sometimes, and making sure a cloud provider removes that user so they don't have access to your stuff anymore is important. So having a provider that's there for you as opposed to keeping it local where you have to manage that yourself. And then quickly here, our clients' favorites about the cloud. I would definitely say first one and second one are 1A, 1B, but anywhere, anytime access from any device. That's the beauty of the cloud, right? You can access your Sage from the beach as long as you don't get sand on your workstation, as long as they have Wi-Fi or a hotspot connection. Updates and upgrades being done for you. Instead of having to coordinate Sage being updated across everyone's workstations and making sure you're doing that in a timely manner so everyone's working on the same set of books and same set of software. One update updates it for everyone, and you're good to go the next morning. Same thing with Windows updates. You don't have to worry about a VPN setup or maintenance. If VPNs aren't set up correctly or not properly maintained, they are more cumbersome than helpful sometimes. So not having to set up VPN is always nice for them. Again, scalability. We mentioned this, but hey, cloud support. Hey, can you help me out a user? That's it. You can scale that easily. Cost savings, like we talked about, not having to produce a big, heavy CapEx cost for a new server and all the licensing that goes along with it. Just pay per user on the cloud, you're good to go. And last but not least, peace of mind. Knowing that you're monitored 24/7, that you're protected from a security standpoint, that uptime SLAs have your back so you can access things at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Making sure everything is backed up, making sure you can access from different devices. You don't have to manage it. You get a partner that helps manage it for you at the end of the day. And team, back over to you. Actually, no, I will take the next one, I think. Next slide, please. Yep, perfect. So here at SWK, we do a lot of awesome stuff here. As you know, we're experts at hosting Sage, but also cloud, but we do a lot more as well. Could be managed IT, cybersecurity, professional services. We are experts in the software consulting side. So we do a lot of awesome stuff here. Next slide, please. And don't take our word for it. We've won a good amount of awards. The one I want to call out is the winner of the first Sage Cloud Innovation Award that we got recently. That was a huge honor. As you see here, don't necessarily need to read them out to you, but we are one of the top MSPs. We're SOC compliant. We get a lot of great awards and great compliances overall.
Yes, and I want to, chime in here, Noah, that first cloud Sage Cloud Innovation Award was huge. And this is, just a little snapshot of some of our awards. We are proud to say that we're the most highly awarded bar in the accounting and ERP software space. And as you saw from the last slide, we have a ton of other services ranging from ERP, those important integrations, our cybersecurity, MCS team, all their wonderful expertise. So thank you, Noah, for giving us a lot of information about, what is this whole cloud versus on-prem debate? What does hosting mean, and how does that relate to the awesome information Kasana gave us on Sage 50? And I think that's a perfect segue into our Q&A session. So there was a lot of information which I think both Kasana and Noah for. So I'm sure there's some questions out there in the audience, and we've already had a few come in, but if you haven't had a chance to get your question in yet, do that now in the question section. And we'd also appreciate your participation in just a quick poll while you're getting those questions in. So I know there's a lot of information here, but believe it or not, there's even more to find out. So we're just wanting to know, are you interested in learning more, whether that's seeing a Sage 50 demo that's personalized to you and your business? Do you want some more information on that hosting? Do you have some other questions and just would like to be contacted and get to talk to an SWK rep? So thank you all, and I'm going to leave that open for just a moment. I see some more questions coming in, so I will get those asked to Kasana and Noah in just one second. Okay, so Kasana, Noah, I've got some questions for you. Are you ready?
Yep.
Fire away.
Awesome. Perfect. So the first one is, regarding Sage 50. So this attendee wants to know, how easy is it to move from another solution to Sage 50? Particularly, they said they're on QuickBooks, and can they convert their data from QuickBooks to Sage 50? So could you guys give us a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone moving from QuickBooks will be managed by our professional service team to do the data migration. All of the data typically can be captured, including the history components. So yes, that is possible. As far as how easy is it to do, this is typically done in less than a 3-hour time frame, depending on the size of the company and how many companies they're working with. But it's very simplified, and we have a dedicated professional services team that provides that function as part of the acquisition to Sage 50.
Great, thank you. Our next question, I think, is a bit more for Noah about hosting. So they're asking, what kind of capabilities does hosting provide me, and what makes SWK's hosting different from other hosting options?
Yeah, well, what was the first part of that question again, Courtney? I apologize.
Yeah, so they're asking, what capabilities, and I think we kind of touched on this, what capabilities does hosting provide, and what makes hosting with SWK different from other hosting options?
Yeah, capabilities are in a lot of stuff we talked about, but just not having it constricted to one location or one office. The world is your office overall, virtual office, so to speak. And you're not losing any functionality. It's you don't get like a watered down Sage 50 by moving it to a cloud. You get all the modules, configuration settings you've already predetermined or pre-configured. So you get access at your fingertips wherever on any device. The second part, what makes SWK, hosting different, we're experts in the hosting of Sage 50. Cloud hosting providers aren't. We're very good at it. We offer dedicated hosting, where it's dedicated to you and your business and your stuff, as opposed to a true multi-tenant or server farm where you're sharing server space with somebody else who has Sage 50, and it can just be a little bit more of a cluster and not as secure and not as fast or just as accustomed to. Our environments come with good amount of server resources. A lot of hosting providers kind of short you on CPU and RAM and storage. We make sure we scope it correctly to handle your workflow, your software, your data, your business overall. We also have security specialists on staff. Again, we have a SOC team. It's a huge part of our business. A lot of hosting providers are one-trick ponies and kind of don't, honestly, or they outsource it. MFA is a big one. We have MFA on all solutions. We back up 3 times a day. And then last quick one is we have a cool thing called a financial professional portal, where if you're a CPA or accountant, you have clients that come on board, you can have a master view of those clients, but client A and client B don't know the others exist. So it allows you to manage your clients' Sage 50 even easier from the cloud.
Great. That was a lot of good reasons. And that's the only questions we have for both of you today. And I think that really speaks to the really thorough and in-depth information you both gave on, Sage 50 and all the different industries, the different company sizes that can accommodate, and how to really, take something like Sage 50 and still make it accessible to you. Like you said, something goes on the office and you have to go somewhere else, you can still have that access. So with that, we're getting close, if you're on the East Coast, to 2 p.m. So we want to say thank you to everyone that took some time out of the super busy schedules we all have nowadays to spend a little bit of time on this webinar with us. If you're not a current SWK customer, here's some information on where you can find us online, or you can always reach us at info@swktech.com. Or if you're a customer, you can go ahead and reach out to your rep. Again, if you'd like to get some more information on Sage 50, we got great information today, but if you want some personalized information on how it can specifically work for your business and your needs, please let us know in the post-webinar survey or reach out. And I want to say one more quick thank you to Kasana and Noah for, taking their time to present for us today. So thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.